Our blood may be Chinese, but our roots grow deep into Philippine soil.
Chinese by blood, Filipino by heart carries a lot of meaning for me because growing up in both cultures, I was taught to really value family.
Proud ako to have that mix in me. And I would say that it's been instrumental to my success now.
I went to international school, so some of parts of my ideologies are very Western also. And whether or not other people agree with me, so be it.
I'm always aware of being a Filipino at heart. I love this country. I love the Filipino people, and I'm deeply concerned about the future of this country. But at the same time, I'm proud of my Chinese ancestry, the deep roots that we have in China, and how my father succeeded in this country. This country provided him with the opportunity to make something of himself.
Wala talaga akong preconceived notion of how a Chinese family works. Marami nang nagsasabi na, ganyan-ganyan, pag Chinese, sigurado ka ba?
How do you break the wall?
We're not perfect, pero not just Chinese and Filipina or Chinese-Filipino couples who ask us for advice. Even like normal Filipino couples ask us, parang, how do you find the right partner?
Are in a unique position with a unique heritage and background and embracing your identity fully and trying to get the best parts of it.
Hi, I'm Angelia Ong, your Miss Earth 2015. Chinese by blood, Filipino by heart. It really means a lot. It carries a lot of meaning or weight for me because growing up in both cultures, I was taught to really value family, like as a Filipino and as a Chinoy. So I was born in Manila, but I grew up in Iloilo City. When my parents separated, I went with my mom there. And I think I never really thought that I was Chinoy right away because back, home, I didn't really see any much like Chinese influence. But when I started going to school in a Chinese school, and I realized this is somewhere I belong. That's when I guess realized that there is another part of me that I'm slowly learning, and it really stuck with me. The values taught to me are the same values that prepared me in any challenges that I faced as an adult, as a person, and it made me a better version of myself. And I stay rooted to my Chinese-Filipino heritage by respecting it and hoping that the next generations of Chinoy will do the same. We will because we can. Catch me on Chinoy TV's Chinese by Blood, Filipino by Heart, only on CNN Philippines. Physically, I don't really look Chinese. I never really thought that I was Chinoy right away, but when I started going to Chinese school, that's when I realized this is somewhere I belong. Chinese by blood, Filipino by heart. It carries a lot of meaning for me because growing up in both cultures, I was taught to really value family. As an Ilongga, as a Chinoy, I guess I rest in the fact that I will never be alone.
Our blood may be Chinese, but our roots grow deep into Philippine soil.
Chinese by blood, Filipino by heart, #Roots is brought to you by Dash Cargo, propelling possibilities. BA Securities, your trading partner in Asia Pacific.
At a very young age, I've always felt like I was destined to do something big. I just didn't know what it was. But I knew that I was going to do something. And I'm just really thankful that I have, my mom always reminding me that I am capable. And this is why she worked so hard to put me in a very good school so that I will be more equipped and more, ready to face any challenges, whatever life may bring. So Chinese by blood, Filipino by heart, it carries a lot of meaning or weight for me because growing up in both cultures, I was taught to really value family, like as a Filipino and as a Chinoy. So I was born in Manila, but I grew up in Iloilo City. When my parents separated, I went with my mom there. So my mom is a single parent. We were actually living in a compound with my mom's side. So I grew up with my cousins. So growing up, I had a little bit of insecurity because I don't have a dad. So I would hear like my cousins, like if my uncle would like come back home, they'd be like, oh, papa, papa, papa. Like I've always felt like there was something sort of missing somehow. But I appreciate my mom though very much because of it, because I know the sacrifices that she's done. Tulaan mo na lang kusang imo nga macaroni. Diba? Amo na siyang ibutang sa So parang kalahati lang. Na talaga akong talent sa kitchen. She's really managed to make meets end by really hustling. Like my mom has pretty much sold life insurance to like memorial plans. So it's like life to death. and she's done that constantly for years and just to make sure that we have the best education that we can have. And it's really, really opened my eyes and really gave us better opportunities. And this is how I am right now is because of the sacrifices of my mom. And I will always be thankful. I think I never really thought that I was Chinoy right away because back, home, I didn't really see much like Chinese influence. But when I started going to school in a Chinese school, actually one of the best, especially in Iloilo, that's when I realized like, oh, this is somewhere I belong. Physically, I don't really look Chinese, but I really, really love the culture because I grew up with it. That's how I see like with my classmates and at school. There's so many things that I've learned in school that really molded me into who I am today. Every day of our lives was like, there's just a little competition somewhere from cleaning the classroom. We have like weekly competitions that will be announced on the first day of school or last day of school, which is Monday or Friday. We were really encouraged to also embrace the Chinese culture, whether you're Chinese or not. They taught us how to be competitive, but in a good way.
So, just like all the other kids sa ibang mga paaralan, di ba? Half day nga yan di ba? Yun yung pinag-aaralan din ng mga nasa Chinese school. Pero alam natin that the Chinoy student in the Chinese schools goes beyond that. Kumbaga, they put more effort in studying. Oras pa lang bakit? Kasi may Chinese subjects na on top of your DepEd curriculum. But this is where you see na eventually dadali na nila sa buhay yan. Yung pagiging hardworking. Of course, when you are in that kind of curriculum, there's a certain level of discipline that you impose on yourself, a certain kind of competitiveness that you impose on yourself. Na eventually, yan yung mga guideposts mo.
They really do have a lot of co-curricular activities. We have English week, Chinese week, even Filipino week, Linggo ng Wika, you know. So I actually hosted all of those except Chinese week. It's hard to speak in Chinese fluently. So, you know, these activities would require, of course, other extra money to join. So the financial constraints actually really did affect me as a child. There are times that I have to take my exams a week late because, you know, my mom couldn't come up with the tuition on time. But she always delivers. Of course, there are times that you feel insecure about these things. It's been tough, to be honest. And there are things that I couldn't do because I really love, I guess my love for performing came from the school. I really appreciate that mom always tries her best to like support me in any of the things that I wanted to try. Actually, in school, I used to sing a lot. I used to sing in English and even in Chinese. There would always be competitions at least 2 to 4 times a year. So we'd have those, and it really, really helped a lot with my confidence as well. I think the reason why I'm comfortable speaking with other people and on camera is because I was already very much trained by the school to do that. I think my mom was able to showcase how it is to be truly an Ilonggo in terms of being resilient in whatever adversity that she had faced, whatever challenges she had to go through. She always found a way because she puts us first, her kids. It's always family first. Because of this, I've learned to be very independent at an early age because it really drove me to work as fast as I could so I could be of help to her, you know. Being a solo parent is not easy. And if I could ease that, I feel like I've done a good job as a daughter. So I started working straight after high school. Actually, at 17, I already started working so that I could help her with my tuition in college. Because I know it's not the same in high school. So there was a big chunk from me that craves for a Chinoy family because I would always see the examples from my classmates in school, and I've always looked up and appreciated them. It has become my standard or like aspirations. I love that they always go together. Sunday is family day, like just a sense of family, because like I said, growing up, like I didn't have a complete family, and just like, you know, looking at them, like it inspires me. There are moments I feel like sana ako din. You like that kind of moments, but I think it's natural. Back then, I would cry about it, sure. But then, you know, especially when I started thinking about the sacrifices my mom has to go through, like, it just makes me more thankful. But yeah, it's still funny sometimes that I feel like I'm a fake Chinoy because, you know, my real family does not really practice all of, you know, the usual practices Chinoy family has. But I feel like I've lived through it through my classmates. Looking at my classmates, like the examples of their family, I want that for me too. I've always been a positive person, and I know that things happen for a reason. And I'm thankful that I got to see their experiences because it has really helped me dream bigger and make bigger goals.
Chinese by Blood, Filipino by Heart, #Roots is brought to you by Landlight, your total lighting solution. Poland Hopia. Chinese General Hospital and Medical Center, exceptional care within reach. AgriPro Premier Nutrition Inc. GAOC. Jimmy C. Chua Beng Tang. Nation Paper Products and Printing Corporation. Japan Parts Trading Center. Alejandro Co. Global Diesel and GU Engineering. Enrique Chua. Sherwin Choi. Albert Co. Jersey Haven, Veco Paper, Water Care, PG Flex Linoleum, and Maruyama Tarpaulin. Ford Tractor Philippines, your long-term agriculture partner. Tony D, William Goshako, Gabby Ang, Chinese by blood, Filipino by heart.
So when I graduated in high school and went to college, I think that that's when I felt more Chinoy, more than ever, because that's the life that I've always known. For more than a decade, I've always been surrounded by Chinoys around me. And leaving that community and facing college life without that circle, it was really hard for me. I'm used to rules. I'm used to uniforms. And the fact that I can go to school without a uniform, I was like, what? Why? I didn't really get that a lot. Like, oh, kaya ka pala you're like this because you're Chinoy. Because like when they look at me, I don't look like Chinoy right away. But then when I start telling them my complete name, they'd be like, huh? Ong ka? So I'd get that a lot of reactions up until today. In general, things were easy because I know I'm equipped because of the things that I've learned. But also, I struggled because I do things differently than the rest. Because I was trained that way, I felt like I was actually able to manage a lot of tough things better than the rest. And our math is great, so that helped too. And the network is so strong. So you always have an ahya or achi everywhere you go. And if you need something, you know that you can always ask someone for advice. So I studied actually mass communications in college because I've always felt like I was gonna work on TV, but I didn't really think in front of the camera right away. When there was an opening for a show in Iloilo, it's a regional TV from GMA. Even the fact that I got invited to audition was by chance because I was invited by a designer to be his model while being featured for a noontime local show in Iloilo. The show was called Style Naton. So in Ilonggo, it's called our style, basically. We basically tackled anything under the sun, food, people, place, events. Of course, we did a lot of traveling. For a 17-year-old, that's very overwhelming. But I'm very, very happy that I did it. I was taught to be conservative growing up. It took me so much courage to even wear a bikini. I think I only got more comfortable wearing a swimsuit in college. But now I've learned to embrace my body and more confident as the years go by. But that show has actually led me to pageantry because I was taller than usual Ilongga, or even as Filipino in general. So I would always get this, like tukso or like jokes like, maybe you should be a beauty queen. Then I met my counterpart, the show's counterpart in Cebu. So ours is Style Naton. In Cebu, it's called Style Nato in Cebuano. And she met me and she saw me and she's like, you really have a shot at this. Like, do you want to try? Because if you do, you need to leave ASAP so you can train in Manila. Ilonggos are very conservative. Pageantry wasn't the most exciting thing for a young Ilongga to do. But I took the chance. I didn't tell anybody, not even my school. So I left school to chase this new dream of being a beauty queen. In pageantry, it was a different ballgame. It was a totally different experience, very far from what I'm used to. I didn't know that it was very hard to be one. It wasn't just being pretty or just smiling. Like, I got a realization that, you know, it's more purpose. And I didn't win the first time. But even so, the Chinese community in Iloilo found out just weeks before the coronation night that I actually joined, because I never told anybody. And I didn't know that the city could actually help you financially as well, because I used up my own savings to join. I found out because other girls, when they make letters, they were actually given financial support to continue to represent their cities. And I only did it like up to the last second, and lo and behold, first people to help me, Ong Association. And they just heard, they found out, and they connected with me, and they said, we want to help you. That's just amazing, you know, like family again. Opportunity came, and my mentor, Tito Rogel Flores, he said, like, why don't you try Miss Earth? Because I feel like you're ready for this one. You weren't ready for anything back then. But like when he saw me again, he's like, you're more equipped now. I was like, why not? And I made a pact with me and God that if I join Miss Earth and if I don't win, then I am going to join another pageant, but I need to be a graduate. But if I do win, sabi ko, sagad mo na, Lord. Hanggang international na. Sabi ko, tuloy-tuloy na. When I won the national one and represented our country in the international one, and it was my first time to go to Europe. It was in Vienna, Austria, and that usually never happens because it was the 15th anniversary of Miss Earth, and that's why they called me the Crystal Queen. It was very tough because I was vying for a back-to-back win, which has never happened and rarely happens in any pageant. So the support was like hot and cold somehow. You also feel like, you know, sometimes you feel like you're not taken seriously. But I'm an Ilongga. I can do this. And I'm a Manilenya. I can do this. And I'm Chinoy. Definitely can do this. And I went to Vienna, and when people ask me, why do you think you won? And I always say this constantly, like, honestly, I was just being a Filipina in a country that, you know, I've never been to. And I feel like the people around me saw that because all of my reactions were genuine.
Ang daming Chinoy na successful, pero very humble sa mga probinsya. Pero hindi mo rin maiiwasan na hindi naman lahat sila business-minded o magkakaroon ng magsuswertehin sa business. Kaya may mga Chinoy sa iba't ibang lugar sa Pilipinas na hindi naman mayaman tulad namin. Middle class. Pero sa aking palagay, laging ina-associate yung dahil Chinese ka, mayaman ka. Hindi ganun ang buhay. I mean, nagiging mahirap ka o mayaman ka hindi dahil dun sa Chinese-ness mo o dun sa kung ano yung lahi mo. Dun sa kung ano yung choices na ginawa mo sa buhay. Except that, of course, sa Chinese, may mga ilang bagay sa kanilang kultura that makes them, a lot of them, resilient and parang kumbaga nakakagawa ng mga opportunity.
Chinese by blood, Filipino by heart, #roots is brought to you by Kubota, Asia's #1 tractor brand by Go Traktora. Real Estate Hub. AgriPro Premier Nutrition Inc. Sky Law, Jimmy C, Chua Beng Teng, Nation Paper Products and Printing Corporation, Japan Parts Trading Center, Alejandro Ko, Global Diesel and GU Engineering, Anson Tan, Enrique Chua, Sherwin Choi, Albert Ko, Jersey Haven, Chan Kwan, Thomas Kua, Philflex Wires and Cables, Ford Tractor Philippines, your long-term agriculture partner, Chen Z Xia, Nang Family, Tony D, William Goshako, Chinese by blood, Filipino by heart.
And now, the fairest of them all, our new Miss Earth is
When I won the title, it was one of the best feeling and moments of my life, and it changed my life so much. I didn't have to hustle as much as I used to, because it opened a lot of doors and opportunities for me, and because of it, I was able to help my family and especially my mom. But we do have this special moment at the backstage, just hugging, because who would have thought? This girl from Iloilo, who's provinciana, achieved something that everybody told her to be impossible. But I feel like everything I went through led me to that and equipped me to win the competition. And it was such a special moment. So the Ilonggos and the Chinoy community are not very shy to show appreciation, support, and how proud they are if you've achieved something. When I won Miss Earth, I remember when I came back, I wasn't able to really experience having a super big welcome parade or whatever. But the moment the Ilonggos and especially Huashong or my school found out about this, they invited me right away to come back home, and they made it for me. It was, my school's idea to throw me a little welcome parade, and I really found that very sweet. Time and time again, the Ilonggos or the Ilonggo Chinoys would always never fail to lend out a helping hand and make you feel that you are not alone. Winning Miss Earth wasn't just a title for me. When I got into it, I don't really consider myself as an advocate at all. I saw it as an opportunity that I could better my life. That was my initial approach. But as I went through the process and the activities, it has really opened my eyes of how urgent the situation is.
I met Angelia Ong in 2016. A few months right after her winning Miss Earth in Vienna, Austria. I got to style her for a Miss Earth event when she arrived here in Manila. My first impression of her, she is such a ball of positivity. She lights up the room. the aspects of her being Chinoy showed the very first time I've met her. She's very hardworking. She's very determined. Whatever goals that she has, put herself into, she makes sure that she achieves it.
When I won Miss Earth, I've always wanted to make sure that it wasn't just a one-year thing. I wanted to use my platform to continue the work that we've started. So I'm so proud that in the span of 10 months that I was Miss Earth, I was able to do a lot of things. I always want to graduate. It's non-negotiable for me. And that's one of the things that being a Chinoy and being an Ilonggo taught me. One of the greatest moments of my life, aside from winning, was when I turned over my crown as Miss Earth, because it was also a back-to-back win for me that day. Because in the morning at 6 a.m., I graduated in TICC for my college degree. And then straight after graduating, I ran to SM Mall of Asia and give up my crown that very same day. So it was double graduation for me, a back-to-back. I was graduating in school and I was graduating as Miss Earth 2015. Definitely, I'm sure she's proud. My mom is my strength and my weakness. I adore my mom so much. And a lot of my decisions and almost everything I do in life, I always consider her. She never left me. She was always supportive. She gave me enough freedom to be myself. As an Ilongga, as a Chinoy, as a Filipina, I guess I rest in the fact that I will never be alone, because I know I have that family to count on. I guess my advice for Chinoys like me who struggle the same things like I did or are still going through it right now, I'd like you to know that you're not alone. That's first and foremost. Whatever you're going through, it's only temporary, and that there is something beautiful that will come out of it. But knowing your weaknesses is a strength. Accept and embrace your flaws and wear it like an armor, and I'm sure you will pass with flying colors and you'll face the future. This community is sometimes tough, yes, but more than that, it's actually tough love. I fully embraced being a Chinoy when I realized that aside from my immediate family, there is another community that I can actually call family as well. And they show that every time in different moments of my life. I feel like whatever challenge that I go through, whether it's in pageantry or in life, I tackle it with grace and with courage. I still feel it up until this day. A lot of the things that I am going through, plans that I'm trying to go for, I know that I have my Chinoy community to count on and lean on. And I know I belong.
It's not just between the two of us, but accepting that this is a relationship between two families, which is a Chinese family and a Filipino family.
Basta nag-decide siya, this is my life, and ako yung magpapakasal, ito yung makakasama ko for the rest of my life, I should make my decision. I think yun yung parang how to break the Great Wall.
Chinese by blood, Filipino by heart. #Roots was brought to you by Dash Cargo, propelling possibilities. BA Securities, your trading partner in Asia Pacific.